Well, new tonight, a former Memphis police officer is waiting to learn his punishment for a murder and kidnapping while he was on duty.
Allegedly chucked Mr. Howard's body into the Wolf River in Memphis.
While Ferguson faces first-degree murder charges in state court, he also faces federal civil rights charges.
This is a prime example, man, of good people being taken away from their families for no reason, man.
Howard's family tells us he was dating a former girlfriend of Ferguson's, also a police officer. Memphis police would not confirm that information for us today, but director Mike Rawlings, condemning Ferguson, had this message for the community.
He does not represent us. We're going to do everything we can do to ensure that this does not happen again.
Rawlings saying he's been in touch with the district attorney and FBI to make sure the former officer is held accountable. Is there any message you have for the family of Robert Howard?
Our hearts and prayers go out to the family of Mr. Robert Howard. To think that he has 3 young children, those children, have been robbed of time with their father. Mother or father are devastated losing a son.
Howard's girlfriend initially reported him missing last Wednesday. Throughout their investigation, detectives connected Ferguson to the disappearance. Records say searches through his cell phone history showed him looking up how to clean up crime scenes. They also tracked down video of him purchasing cinder blocks, chains, and padlocks to hide evidence. Investigators also found surveillance video they say shows him shooting Howard while on duty. Detectives say Ferguson admitted to kidnapping and shooting Howard, along with disposing of his body, which was later found near 2nd Street and the Wolf River Bridge.
You'll never think this will happen. You'll never think this will happen.
Well, Robert Howard's mother is still trying to make sense of everything that happened now that a Memphis police officer stands accused of kidnapping, shooting, and killing her son.
Martha Garth says her 30-year-old son, Robert Howard, was a loving and caring man. He grew up in Osceola, Arkansas, and had small-town charm.
Robert he stayed to himself a lot. That's the way he liked to be. He didn't like drama.
That's why she struggles to understand why anyone would want to hurt him, much less someone wearing a badge.
My child, it was not no reason for him to mess with my child like that.
Police have not provided a motive, but Martha says her son and his girlfriend had broken up. During that breakup, she says the girlfriend started to see Ferguson. But she says she learned her son and his girlfriend had decided to get back together and believes Ferguson didn't like that and wanted her son out of the way.
So you plotted this to take my son's life once you found out he was back in town and she wanted him back over there. But what gave you the right?
Memphis police say Ferguson looked like the ideal candidate to be a police officer. But Martha says her son's death shows Memphis police need to dig deeper into the backgrounds of those applying for a gun and a badge.
You got police officers taking their rank and that badge for a joke. It's not no joke. And you took the oath to protect. And you're not doing that. Show us that we can trust y'all.
Today, we're looking into a case of former Memphis police officer Patric J. Ferguson, a man who used his badge, his patrol car, and his authority to kidnap and murder 30-year-old Robert Howard. This case begins on January 5th, 2021, on the north side of Memphis, and it shocked the entire city.
Well, new tonight, a former Memphis police officer is waiting to learn his punishment for a murder and kidnapping while he was on duty.
On January 5th, around 5 p.m., Robert Howard was at his home near Coleman Road in North Memphis. According to investigators, this was the last time he was seen alive. A witness reported seeing a marked Memphis Police Department squad car pull up in the area. Inside the vehicle was Officer Patric J. Ferguson, still on duty, wearing his MPD uniform and driving his assigned patrol unit. He was not dispatched to the home. There was no call for service. He arrived there on his own. According to the federal indictment, Ferguson removed Howard from his residence and placed him into the backseat of his patrol car. GPS records show Ferguson patrol car leaving the Coleman Road area shortly after 5:15 p.m. He didn't report any activity to dispatch, and he didn't log the transport. From there, Ferguson began driving toward the Fraser area of North Memphis. Investigators say Ferguson made multiple stops with Howard in the back seat. The GPS shows the patrol vehicle stopping near Stage Road, Hollywood Street, and the Lacey Street area. None of these stops were part of Ferguson's assigned route for that shift. Witnesses later reported seeing the patrol car parked in areas where officers normally did not patrol alone. At some point during the trip, Ferguson pulled the vehicle onto a side street near Horn Lake Road. It was here, the investigators say, Ferguson turned around in his seat, pulled out a weapon, and shot Howard in the head while he was sitting in the back of the patrol unit.
Investigators say former Memphis police officer Patric Ferguson kidnapped and shot Howard in the head in his MPD squad car. Prosecutors say Ferguson was jealous because Howard was dating his ex-girlfriend.
The firearm was not an MPD-issued weapon. It was Ferguson's personal handgun, described in the indictment as a Smith & Wesson .40 caliber pistol. Ballistics testing later confirmed the casings found in the patrol car matched Ferguson's weapon. The bullets recovered from Howard's body also matched the gun. Howard died instantly. After killing Howard, Ferguson didn't radio for help. He didn't notify supervisors. Instead, prosecutors say he put Howard's body into his personal vehicle. At this point, it was around 7 p.m. From here, Ferguson drove the body to the 200 block of Denver Street, a secluded area off the Wolf River Greenway near North Hollywood Street. This is where he dumped Ferguson's body down a small embankment.
Ferguson drove his squad car to his ex's home, made the new boyfriend, Robert Howard, get in the back of his car and drove him to an empty lot where he shot him in the head. Then he dumped his body, cleaned out his squad car, and worked his shift.
Later, Ferguson called a friend, 28-year-old Joshua M. Rogers, for help. Phone records reveal calls between Ferguson and Rogers shortly after the murder. Rogers admitted he came to pick Ferguson up. The indictment states Rogers helped move evidence, clean out the vehicle, and dispose of items belonging to Robert Howard. Rogers also helped Ferguson get rid of the vehicle involved in disposing of Howard's body.
Rogers has also been charged in connection with the murder. He and Rogers allegedly chucked Mr. Howard's body into the Wolf River in Memphis, then took the car used to transport the body to a scrap metal dealership to then have it destroyed, thinking they were getting rid of the evidence.
Rogers then helped Ferguson put chains, padlocks, and cinder blocks on Howard's body and dumped him in the Wolf River. Roger faces up to 70 months in prison at his August 6th sentencing.
On January 6th, the next morning, Robert's girlfriend reported him missing around 8:30 a.m. Memphis police received the missing person report. Howard was last seen being taken away by a uniformed officer. This immediately raised red flags. MPD commanded staff reviewed patrol assignments and discovered Ferguson had been in the area at the exact time Howard disappeared, even though he was never assigned to go there. The same day, detectives searched the area where Ferguson's GPS had shown suspicious spots. At approximately 5 p.m. on January 6th, they found a body near the Wolf River on Denver Street. The medical examiner confirmed it was Robert Howard. Cause of death, single gunshot wound to the head. After interviewing Ferguson for several hours and comparing his statement to the GPS data and other evidence, officers determined he was lying. Ferguson was arrested around 7:30 p.m. on January 6, 2021 at the Ridgeway Station Police Precinct. The charges included first-degree murder, aggravated kidnapping, abuse of a corpse, tampering with evidence, official misconduct, theft of property. The murder weapon, the .40 caliber pistol, was recovered during the arrest. In 2024, a federal grand jury added 8 more charges, including kidnapping resulting in death, deprivation of rights under color of law, obstruction, conspiracy, evidence destruction, firearm discharge resulting in death. These charges were based on GPS coordinates, ballistic evidence, witness statements, autopsy reports, Ferguson's own admission, and phone records linking him with Rogers. Prosecutors say the motive was personal. Howard reportedly had a relationship with the woman Ferguson was involved with. The two men had previous tension. Text messages recovered from Ferguson's phone showed jealous behavior, anger towards Howard, and threats indicating he felt disrespected. This motive, combined with Ferguson's badge and authority, gave him the ability to carry out the crime without suspicion. On December 1st, 2025, in federal court, Ferguson was sentenced to 38 years in prison. The judge stated that Ferguson's crimes were premeditated, deliberated, and carried out under color of law. His accomplice, Joshua Rogers, also pled guilty to obstruction and evidence destruction. a police officer, a badge, a kidnapping, and a murder that investigators say was driven by jealousy and abuse of power. As detectives began piecing together the last hours of Robert Howard's life, they turned to the person who knew his movements best, his girlfriend. She was the one person who reported him missing on the morning of January 6th, the day after he disappeared. During her interview, she told investigators something that immediately changed the direction of the case. She explained that Officer Patrick Ferguson had been jealous of Robert. According to her, Ferguson had a personal connection to a woman that both men knew, and there had been tension between them because of it. She told detectives that Ferguson had shown signs of jealousy before the disappearance. There were messages, questions, and comments from Ferguson that made it clear he didn't like Robert's involvement with the woman. This is the case of Patrick J. Ferguson and the life of Robert Howard, whose family continues to seek justice. She said Robert mentioned that Ferguson wanted to talk to him about something. At the time, she didn't think much of it because Robert knew Ferguson. He didn't see him as a threat. He saw him as a police officer. But in hindsight, the statement would become a key part of the investigation. It explained why Robert willingly walked out of the home and got into the officer's vehicle. It also gave detectives a motive, a personal conflict fueled by jealousy. When investigators pulled Ferguson's phone records, they found messages that matched what the girlfriend had described. Jealous comments, angry reactions, and frustration directed at Robert. Her statement verified what the evidence later confirmed, that the crime wasn't random. It wasn't a traffic stop. It wasn't a misunderstanding. It was something personal.